Many years ago, in the beautiful city of Lagos, there was a popular gym named Prime Pulse Fitness Club. But in the neighborhood, it was known by a different name. Nobody called that gym Prime Pulse Fitness Club. Instead, they all called it Pregnancy Palace because no woman that entered that gym wanting to lose weight, wanting to have flat belly, comes out the same way. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the line, they all came out with pregnancy. The men in that area would usually gist and make jest of that gym. They would gist amongst themselves saying, Oga, you better do not allow your wife ever visit that gym once. So, because if your wife just says she wants to start gym and it's Prime Pulse Fitness Club that she goes to, forget it. In 3 months, 4 months time, you will start buying baby things because she will come out pregnant, and they would all laugh. It was not a coincidence that many married women who were going in there with flat stomachs were coming out a few months later with baby bumps. At first, nobody really suspected anything. Nobody even knew how the story really started. But then, it all began with women that were tired. Not just tired from housework or traffic, but they were tired from being invisible. And Chioma was one of them. She was beautiful, a bank manager, always looking prim and proper, well-dressed, smelling nice, and even in control at work. But at home, it was a different story. Her husband did not even know whether she existed or not. He did not pay her any attention. Even some days that she would stand in front of the mirror after dressing up and looking good, she would turn to her husband and say, baby, how do I look? Seeking validation, seeking attention. But her husband, Uche, was very negligent. He would just keep on scrolling on his phone without even casting a glance at her. And he would just say, hey, you are fine now. You know you are fine. I better close the door because Uche would say nonchalantly as he continues to chat with the small girls on his phone that he had either saved as electrician or DSTV office or a mechanic. Chioma knew that her husband was cheating on her, and she was tired of fighting. She was aware of all the strange names that he saved ladies' numbers with. Sometimes he would even save their number with a full stop. Who does that, Biko? But at this point, she was tired of fighting. She just wanted at least a little attention. If he could give attention to his side chicks, she didn't mind him also giving a little attention to her. She was willing to share her husband with all these small girls. But Uche did not pay her a single attention. And it was not just Chioma. There was another lady whose name was Bisi. Bisi was a caterer with 2 children. She was always cooking, catering for events and the rest of it. And her husband, Kunle, was exactly like Uche. Kunle would not notice whether she made a new hair or not. Sometimes she would even make a new hair, buy a new dress and walk before her husband in the parlor. But he would not even look away from the TV. And she would have to look at him and say, Kunle, can't you see that I made a new hair? Then Kunle would not reply and say, okay, it's fine. Oh, yeah, leave now. Let me watch this match that I'm watching. Shift. That was Kunle for you. And it was not just like this for Chioma and Bisi. That was how it was for most of the married women that ended up at the Prime Pulse Fitness Center. All these women, once upon a time, their husbands used to chase them around the room, compliment their shape, buy them small gifts. But then as the children kept on coming, the stress came, the bills came, then the men got comfortable, then bored with them, and then careless. And then they started spending their time and money on younger girls and then neglected their wives. One day, Chioma and Bisi, who were friends, hung out together. They gisted and laughed. And as usual, discussed all their marital woes. And then Chioma looked at Bisi and said, Omo, it's not time that we start taking care of ourselves. These men do not really care. They are being satisfied by other small girls out there. Let us at least look good for ourselves. And the first step to do that is actually to start working on our bodies. Chioma said. Then Bisi replied and said, that's true. We should work on ourselves, not for our husbands, but for our own confidence. Bisi replied. And so that was how they both went ahead and registered at the Prime Pulse Fitness Gym. And you see that gym, it was the exact kind of place that made you feel very special when you step into it. The gym was very beautiful. It had all the equipment here and there. It had good AC, treadmills, and of course, it had a good sound system where loud Afrobeats stomped from a big speaker. And it also had a smoothie bar where they sold all these healthy smoothies, juices, cucumber and banana, all of that stuff. It was a beautiful gym. So on day one, Chioma and Bisi arrived in their tight clothing, matching sports bra, waist trainers, fresh braids, nails done, lip shining with gloss. They were all ready. And when they signed up, they did not call themselves Mommy Emmanuel or Mommy Favor. They all went by their first names. They both introduced themselves as Chioma and Bisi. On just day one of their gym, and they were already beginning to enjoy it because of all the attention they were getting from the gym instructors, especially Coach Kola and Coach Emeka. Coach Kola was a tall, dark, handsome man, with beards and all of that. You could see the sweat on his chest. He looked all masculine and appealing, and he was paying premium attention to them. When Bisi was trying to use the treadmill, Coach Kola just appeared from nowhere and just put his hands on her waist and steadied her on the treadmill. At this point, Bisi's heart had started beating. Bim, bim, bim. She had not seen this kind of attention from her husband in a long time. There was also another coach, Coach Emeka. He was also a very handsome young man. And he knew that he was handsome. He had all these biceps, all these triceps with big muscular arms and the rest. He went close to Chioma to assist her. He gave her a few exercises to do. And even though she was flopping because it was her first time in years, he did not shout at her. Instead, he kept on encouraging her, saying, "My queen, you can do this. My queen, you're a strong woman. Come on. One more. Go again. And he even told her to squat. And when she was squatting, he went behind her and steadied his hands on her waist, gently holding her waist, following her up and down, telling her, "Relax, you can do it. Just one more squat." Even though Chioma was dying, but she could not just fold her hand. She just continued squatting because she loved the attention she was getting from Emeka, because she hadn't received same in years. And it was not just Bisi and Chioma. Other coaches were always assisting the ladies, with their exercise routines, making them feel so special. And most of these women had husbands at home that had not even touched their waist this gently in months, except to shift them out of the way. Bisi and Chioma were so happy with their first day at the gym. They went back home excitedly, gisting and giggling like little girls. It had been a while they had received such affection from their husbands, and so they prepared again to come again the next day. Meanwhile, Coach Emeka and Kola, who were still in the gym in the afternoon, were just gisting and laughing. Emeka looked at Kola and said, "Omo, have you not noticed something? Have you not noticed that all these married women, they respond to our touch so differently? If you just touch one on the waist, she will just start blushing, just like that. Omo, these women are starving, their husbands are starving them." Emeka said, laughing. Then Kola replied and said, "Before, of course now. Most of these men, after they suffer to woo their wives, once they conquer them and put them in their houses, they feel that they are now their properties. So they are no more appealing to them. They now start looking for new girls to conquer. So obviously, these women are starved. They are starved of affection. They are starved of all this gentle touch at home. I will not be surprised if they have not slept with their husbands in months." Kola replied as they both busted out into laughter. Then Emeka replied and said, If it's like that now, Come on, let us do the Lord's work now. Let us help the husbands. Since the husbands have refused to service them, let us help service them. So they will not be depressed or they will not be angry. Most of these bitter women, if you check, they are starved at home. They are starved by their husbands at home. That's why when they come out, they'll be unleashing anger on people. Let us help the society and make them happy by, servicing their engines, Emeka said as they both busted out into laughter. So Kola and Emeka now made a bet, saying that the person that slept with more married women in the next 1 year would win 50,000 naira. And so it was a deal for them. So each time these women came to the gym to work on their bodies, Kola and Emeka became more intentional, helping out, even buying bottled water for them, just motivating them. Don't worry, you can do this. You got this. You got this. Emeka particularly liked Chioma, so he was always on Chioma's case. Each time Chioma came, he would compliment her. You look so beautiful. You look so lovely, and all of that. While Kola, on the other hand, liked BC, and he was doing the exact same thing for BC. He would assist her, give her motivational speeches and all of that, telling her she was beautiful. He had never seen a beautiful lady like her in his whole life and all of that. And these women were clueless. They did not know that Kola and Emeka had set a bet of who would sleep with the most married women in 1 year. So even though these women did not wake up outrightly to decide to cheat, it did not take very long for them to cheat on their husbands because Chioma had started developing feelings for Emeka. As a matter of fact, she was looking forward to going to the gym. She even started buying new gym wears to look appealing and sexy for Emeka. She would never even repeat the same gym wear in 1 week. She was paying more attention with her appearance because she was already in love with Emeka. And the same went for BC too. BC was already heads over heels in love with Kola and was also taking care of her appearance. They were both very lonely women, and it only took one small spark for them to start lusting after these coaches. Chioma no longer paid attention to whether her husband, Uche, complimented her or not. As a matter of fact, she would lie down right beside him and will be chatting with Emeka on the phone. And of course, Uche will not notice because he himself was also chatting with his side chicks. Of course, he couldn't fathom that his wife, his prim and proper wife, would ever conceive the idea of cheating on him. Chioma now looked happier and began to smile more often. And the same went for BC. BC was no longer seeking her husband's attention. BC would stay on the phone for hours, gisting and laughing with Kola. She would send Instagram reels to Kola, and Kola would respond very swiftly. Kola would call her, telling her all sorts of sweet things. Kola had a sweet mouth. He would tell her that she was brighter than the sun. She was the morning dew. A lot of all these lines that she had not heard in years. Before Chioma knew what was happening, Chioma started having a strong desire to lie with Emeka. And so she began to think of a way to do that. So one day, her husband had told her that he was traveling for a business trip that was going to last for a week. She knew it was not true. She knew he was going out to meet one of his side hands, but she did not care. She was not upset. Then she even helped him pack his bag because she had plans of her own. As soon as her husband, Emeka, drove out from the compound, she immediately called Emeka and said, "Hello, Emeka, how are you? I will not be able to come to the gym today. I was wondering, do you do private sessions?" Chioma asked, sounding all sexy, using all the bedroom voice that she had. And Emeka already knew where this was going. This was what he wanted anyway. So he responded and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, my love. Yes, of course, I can do private sessions. Do you want me to come this morning?" Emeka asked. And Chioma responded and said, "Please do. Please come over. I would not like to miss a single day of my exercise. Even though I will not be able to come to the gym, at least the gym can come to me," Chioma said seductively. And so that was how Emeka visited Chioma in her matrimonial home for private gym sessions. And of course, you and I know exactly how that went. It started from the parlor, and before they knew what was happening, they were both on Chioma's matrimonial bed doing some bedroom gymnastics. When they were done, Chioma was so happy. Her husband had not touched her in months. She had not even felt half this alive. Emeka had handled her like an exam paper and had done justice to her. She was so satisfied to the extent that she went ahead and prepared a wonderful meal for Emeka. It was her own little way of saying thank you. Thank you for making me feel like a woman. And Emeka ate oh. He ate very well and even drank wine to wash it down. And as he was leaving, she still found some money and gave him just to say thank you. She felt so good with herself. And so that was how it started. Chioma no longer attended the gym anymore. Each time Bisi would call her and say, come, let's go to the gym, she would come up with one excuse or the other, because she was now doing private sessions at home with Emeka. Bisi, on the other hand, wanted Kola badly, but did not know how to act on her desires. She did not know how to go about it, because Bisi was more conservative than Chioma. But then one day, after the gym session, Bisi decided to just visit Chioma at her home unannounced. Since Chioma refused to come to the gym, she wanted to know exactly what the problem was. But lo and behold, only for her to get to Chioma's house, and she saw Chioma, and Coach Emeka. They were both tying towels. They looked like they had both done something. Bisi was shocked. Chioma. And so Coach Emeka quickly dressed up and left the house. Immediately he left, Chioma looked at her and said, what? Then Bisi looked at her and said, which one is what? Like you're sleeping with a coach. No wonder. Each time I say, come, let us go to the gym, you come up with one silly excuse or the other. Oh, so you're having private sessions in your house. So you're doing your own gymnastics on your matrimonial bed, Chioma. If your husband catches you, see how I came in, your door was not even locked. And I just found the two of you like this. Bisi replied, looking shocked. Then Chioma looked at her and said, Madam, nobody will catch me. Besides, what am I doing that is really wrong? What exactly am I doing that is wrong? Are you not aware that my husband is busy carrying small girls up and down? This so-called trip that he went for, you and I know that he did not go for any business trip. You and I know that he has gone to lodge one little girl to waste his money on. So why will I be the one starving myself? My husband has not touched me in months. He hasn't even come near me in months. So who is going to cultivate the forest that is growing in me? I beg, please, keep your holier than thou attitude one side. If you don't have anything reasonable to say, please just shut it. And you that is talking, don't I see the way you always look at Coach Kola? The way he's always calling you on the phone. You'll be there talking, gisting and laughing like a small teenage girl that just fell in love for the first time. And you're here, pointing fingers at me. My dear, there's nothing wrong. If you want to go for Coach Kola, go for him. Each time your husband goes to work, invite him to your house. Let him do a private session on you. Maybe then you stop being bitter. Chioma responded. And Bisi was too stunned to say a word. Then later that day when she got home, she kept on thinking about all that Chioma had said. But it's true. My husband does not touch me, even though I wear, all these sexy night gowns and all of that. Even when I try to initiate, he wouldn't respond. Body no be firewood though. I sure. And I actually like Kola. I like Kola. If Chioma can do it, why can't I? Bisi said to herself. And so that was how Bisi started her own private sessions with Coach Kola. Every morning after her husband, Kunle, left for work, she will invite Coach Kola over to her home. the name of private sessions, and they would always end up on her matrimonial bed. Bisi was so happy. It had been long she had felt the touch of a man, and it made her so excited. She also cooked for Kola and would give him money afterwards. Meanwhile, Emeka and Kola, while at the gym, will be busy recounting how their conquest with married women was going, how successful they were, counting the number of married women that they had slept with. And of course, Emeka was leading. Emeka had slept with over 10 married women, while Kola was still like 5 married women behind. He had only slept with about 5 married women. And so things continued like this for a while. And after a while, Chioma, Uche's husband, began to notice a few things. He noticed that his wife was becoming more beautiful and was radiating a different kind of glow. Looking all pretty, wearing all sexy things at home and not even trying to seek for his attention. Even when he goes ahead to compliment her, she would just, wave it off like it was nothing. Uche became very worried though. His wife that was always seeking his attention, now that he was giving it to her, did not care whether or not he complimented her. So one day he called her and said, Chioma, then I noticed you're looking so beautiful. And I also noticed that you're no longer checking my phone, checking who I'm talking with, asking me where I'm going. You literally do not care. Is everything okay? Have I done something wrong? Uche said. Then Chioma looked at him and said, No, you've not done anything wrong. Everything is okay. Everything is fine, Chioma replied. But what Uche did not know was that her attention was now fixed on someone else who was taking very good care of her in the other room. Then one day, something strange happened. Bisi came to visit Chioma looking very scared. She looked at Chioma and said, Chioma, I'm pregnant. Bisi said. Chioma looked at her, shocked. How are you pregnant? Did you not calculate it well? You're not a small girl now. You've given birth to several children. You should know how to calculate these things. Chioma said, looking worried. Then Bisi looked at her and said, What will I do? I'm already pregnant. What will I do? Bisi said, tears streaming down her eyes. Then Chioma comforted her and told her to find a way to sleep with her husband, to make sure that her husband sleeps with her so that she can pin Kola's pregnancy on him. So Bisi wiped her tears and went back home. So later that evening, she wore a very beautiful nightgown and went to her husband, trying to initiate something. But her husband, Kunle, was as stiff as a piece of wood. He just looked at her and said, What's happening? Please just lie down and sleep. I beg. I don't have strength. I've had a long day and I just want to lie down and rest. But Bisi was not going to give up that easily. She looked at her husband coolly and said, My love, please now. It's been a while now. Let's just do something. Even if it's short, 5 minutes now, please. I'm a woman. Then I miss your touch, Bisi said, trying to sound seductive. But Kunle was really shocked, looked at her again and said, Madam, I do not have strength for this nonsense. Please lie down and sleep. You will be okay. Lie down and sleep. You cover yourself with blankets, please, Kunle said as he turned to the other side and slept off. Bisi was so sad. She knew that she had to try harder. She had to get her husband to sleep with her so she could pin this pregnancy on him. But despite her several attempts, Kunle did not fall for it because most times before he even came back home, he had gone to one of his side chicks' house to satisfy himself. So coming back home, he was just coming back home to sleep. He was not coming back home to do another round with his wife when he had been fully satisfied by his side chicks. Bisi was so scared. She went back to her friend Chioma to complain about how unsuccessful she had been in trying to make her husband sleep with her so she can pin Kola's pregnancy on him. But to her greatest surprise, Chioma informed her that she too had gotten pregnant for Coach Emeka. The both of them began to cry and began to console themselves. So at the end of the day, Chioma decided to take her own advice and decided to seduce her husband Uche so that she could pin Emeka's pregnancy on him. And after several attempts, Chioma was successful and was able to make her husband sleep with her. One night, she walked up to Emeka looking all beautiful and radiant and smelling very good. And Uche was surprised because his wife had been, not paying any attention to him. So for her to come on her own to initiate a private time for the both of them, he was more than happy. And he gave in, not knowing that Chioma had plans of pinning Coach Emeka's pregnancy on him. Meanwhile, weeks had passed. As a matter of fact, Bisi had completed her first trimester, and yet her husband had refused to touch her. Then one day, her husband, Kunle, was just in the room looking for something, looking for a document. And then guess what he found? He found pregnant care, antenatal drugs that pregnant women took while pregnant. He was shocked. Who is taking antenatal drugs in my house? My wife is not pregnant now. Then he called out to her, BC, where are you? Come. Immediately, BC ran into the room. And lo and behold, her husband was holding her antenatal drugs, her pregnant care. Then he looked at her and said, BC, what is this? At that point, she started stammering. Kunle, it's not what you think. It is not what you think. BC said, tears streaming down her eyes. Sorosoke, what is it then? Are you pregnant? Kunle asked, already fuming in anger. Then BC fell to her knees and started crying and begging. BC, how can you be pregnant? I have not touched you for at least the past 6 to 7 months. So how can you be pregnant? Are you Mary? How did you get pregnant? Modaron. BC, you cheated on me. You slept with another man. You are finished today. Okay. No wonder you have been trying so hard to make me sleep with you. BC, you are wicked. So this is why you have been trying so hard to make me sleep with you, so that you can pin another man's pregnancy on me. See, my friend, you better start talking. If not, I will break anything I see on your head. Kunle said, fuming in anger. And so BC began to confess and told him everything. How she had met Kola at the gym, and how, because he was not paying attention to her, she had developed feelings and had ended up in Kola's arms. Kunle was so upset. He was fuming in anger. He knew that if he spent an extra minute in the same place with his wife, that he was going to strangle her. So immediately, he just left the house. And he called on his friend, Uche, because he needed to unburden his heart to somebody. So Kunle and Uche both hung out in a beer parlor. And Kunle narrated every single thing that his wife had told him to Uche. Uche was shocked. He was dumbfounded. Then after a while, it clicked. He now looked at him and said, wait, calm down. Chioma, my wife, and your wife, BC, are very good friends. I could even say that they are best friends. So if BC did this, what is the possibility that my wife, Chioma, is not also doing it? And you said that your wife has been trying to seduce you. Yeah. All this while, my wife changed, started taking care of herself, looking after her appearance and the rest of it. I thought it was just her trying to do all this motivational stuff. Even when I pay her compliments, she will not respond and all of that. Then suddenly, in the last 2 months, my wife has been initiating a private time for the both of us every single day. Yeah. Are you sure that this woman is not also pregnant? And now wants to pin the pregnancy on me, the way your wife wanted to pin her own lover's pregnancy on you. Hey, Chioma Egbolam, Chioma has finished me. Chioma Egbolam, Chioma has killed me. Uche said, lamenting aloud. Then there were two men who were also in that beer parlor. They just looked at them and busted out into laughter. Kunle and Uche were shocked. They now turned to the men who were laughing at them and said, what is it? What is funny? Then one of the men answered and said, but Oga, you suppose know now, if your wife they attend that gym, whether na Prime Pulse Fitness, I been a pregnancy palace, you no get any married woman wey dey enter that gym, where those coaches know they chop. Those coaches, they chop all of them. If your wife, they go that gym, forget it. Forget it, Oga. Your wife don't get belle. Go ask your wife, the man said. And so later that day, when Uche went back home, he went straight to his wife, Chioma, and confronted her saying, Chioma, are you pregnant? Then Chioma responded and said, oh, my love, I wanted it to be a surprise. I was planning on how to tell you as a surprise. How did you find out? Chioma asked, trying to pretend to be excited. And then Uche broke down in tears and narrated everything that his friend Kunle had told him about how Bisi had also done the same thing to his friend Kunle. Chioma was speechless. She quickly fell down on her knees and started begging him to please forgive her, saying that it was his fault. He neglected her, abandoned her, and went after several side chicks. But Uche could not take that kind of disrespect. How could his wife have cheated on him the way she did? He was so broken. And so both Uche and Kunle pursued their wives out of their matrimonial homes. And then they both went back to the gym to go and look for the useless coaches that had impregnated their wives. And immediately they cited Coach Kola and Coach Emeka. They both pounced on them. But Coach Kola and Coach Emeka, people that have been gymming and carrying weight for years, beat the hell out of them, beat them blue-black. And as they were beating them, they were telling them, if you had paid attention to your wife would not have been looking for somebody else to care for her. You are the reason why your wife cheated on you. It is not our fault. Your wife was just neglected and we just helped you to fill in the space. And they beat them black-blue. As a matter of fact, Uche and Kunle left that gym with swollen faces and bruised body. And they both sat down together in the car and were talking to themselves and said, actually, maybe it is our fault. We neglected our wives and started pursuing small girls. Maybe if we had paid them the same attention that we paid to all the side chicks, they would not have gone out to sleep with all these small boys. Uche said, and Kola agreed with him. So a few months later, after Kola's temper had calmed down, he forgave his wife and welcomed her back into his home. But Uche could never forgive his wife. His ego had been so bruised and he could never take her back. And even though he wanted her back, but he could not just take her back because he felt that he had been disgraced. And even though Chioma was sad that she had lost her marriage the way she did, she was not sad for what she did. Hi besties, it's your favorite storyteller, Omalicha. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. What do you really think? Do you think that these men literally pushed their wives into the arms of another man? Or do you think that these women have always wanted to cheat? They were just looking for the right excuse to cheat on their husbands. That's one. Then secondly, would you have taken back your wife just like Kola did? Or would you have rejected, as in refused, as in you will never be able to forgive your wife, just like Uche did? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And please hit that subscribe button now. Subscribe to my channel. Support your home girl, Omalicha, by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing with your loved ones. So now, till I come your way again with more interesting stories. Bye.